Okay, so I'm sitting outside with the Stillman family, and we're going to ask them just a few questions about what got them into beekeeping. So I'm going to just quickly have everyone introduce themselves.
I am Dodie.
Woody.
And Kevin.
All right. So, Dodie, what got you interested in beekeeping? Where did that all start?
Both of my grandfathers were beekeepers. And when I was really little, I got in trouble because I was the one that didn't run when all the other older cousins threw mud dauber clods at the beehives. They all ran, and I didn't know I was supposed to run. Bees back then were nice and sweet. There weren't as many diseases. There weren't Africanized bees where we were at the time, so it wasn't like throw a dirt clod at them and they're going to swarm out and eat you. So it wasn't as bad to do when we were kids. But so bees were in my family. My dad, my parents didn't keep bees, but then I always thought it was cool. I just thought they were cool little bugs, and I had a Groupon from Round Rock Honey to go do a class, and I thought, how cool, let's go do this, Kevin, let's go do this. And he was like, no, you have too many other hobbies. You're riding bikes, you're doing this, you're doing that, no time for bees. Then he came home from work one day and he said, guess what I have to do? I was like, what do you have to do? He works at the highway department, takes pictures of everything everywhere. I have to go take pictures at Round Rock Honey. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going with you. And he goes, yes, of course you are. Well, we were add-ons at the end, so they didn't have full suits for us. We didn't have gloves. And he handed me his flash, and you kind of got a picture of it when we were in the bee field with your black little GoPro. Well, the other thing that bees don't like is light, big light, because their house is dark, and they're in this dark, big old dark box. Suddenly he's like, get closer, I'm holding the flash, get closer. I got a big old black flash in my hand, and it's flashing bright light at them, and they're not happy with that. So I got stung.
Wow. How many stings?
Just one.
Okay.
So he was like, oh, I didn't mean for you to get stung. He did it on purpose, but he didn't mean for you to get stung. I know he wanted me to get stung. I'll fix her of this beekeeping thing she did.
So strategic.
So then he felt bad because I got stung, and so for Christmas he's like, okay, tell me what all you need to be a beekeeper. So that was my Christmas present that year.
And how long ago was this?
2013.
Wow.
So
7 years.
I was beekeeping for a couple of years with another friend, and then she decided she'd had enough, and he goes, well, I don't want you going out there by yourself, anything could happen. So, and in those 2 years he was telling everybody that his wife was a beekeeper. They were, oh, that's so cool, tell us about it, and they were all excited. So he's like, I'm going to step into this and get some of this action. So now he's the assistant beekeeper.
All right. So, Kevin, what turned you basically, besides, was it Dodie's enthusiasm, or what was the...
Well, it's always good to have someone who's excited and is passionate about it, your partner. And she was very passionate about it, and I could see that. So she even went and got through the first Master Beekeepers program that Texas offered. So she's a Master Beekeeper. And so she asked me if I wanted to do it with her. I said, no, I'll tell you what I'll do, is I'll be your assistant. Kind of like Frankenstein and Igor, Like she would run the experiments and I would just go, yes, ma'am. It works. The relationship works that way. And we got Cody involved because he's got a stronger back than I do. And this is the other thing about COVID is he's working from home. He doesn't get out. So he comes out on Sundays. So he gets out of his apartment to get some fresh air.
Great.
Yeah. The other 6 days of the week, I just sit basically at my office at work.
Yeah. And
in the living room.
In the living room.
And what enthused you, Cody, to to be the assistant to the assistant?
Oh, well, I like bees, and I like spending time with my parents, and it all just kind of came together as something extra I can do with my folks. So I want the bees when they're done. So
okay.
Next.
Very good. And was it your parents' enthusiasm that got you? Okay.
Yeah, probably. It's just a cool thing, and I think if they picked up ant farming, I definitely don't think I would have gotten into it as much. But
So kind of like a family business. So there's a lot of things in nature, for example, fishing, hunting. Some of these like are apprentice type sports, or not sports, but apprentice type involvement, right? Somebody teaches you how to do this. So would you consider beekeeping one of those areas that you should take a class, you should learn from people, master beekeepers, etc.?
Yes.
Okay.
There's tons of books too, lots of free resources online. Tons, I mean, just about every county in Texas, every populated county in Texas has a beekeeping club.
Okay.
So you can join those clubs. Joining the clubs are free, and they have really informative meetings. So you can join a bee club. You can, a lot of the bee clubs have scholarships so that your kids can get involved and get free hives and have mentors, helping them learn how to take care of the bees for a year. You can get a mentor through a beekeeping club. You can just meet friends and other people that also share your beekeeping interest. And like I said, tons of books. There's tons of classes. Texas has their own Texas Beekeepers Association group. They have a couple of different seminars, conventions throughout the year, so you can go to those and learn.
So if there were one piece of advice that someone that was interested in beekeeping, would you tell them, what would you tell them? Find a local club?
Find a local club, but if you really want to, if you really want to see if you want to get into it, take a few classes. So in North Austin, Round Rock County has a class, and part of that class you go out and you get into a beehive, so you can get a little bit of an up-close adventure. In South Austin, Texas, Honeybee Farm has also, their first class is all indoors, and you're in a screened-in porch. So kids can come. They have a talk, taste, and tour on the first Saturday of every month, and you can just be there and look at the bees through the porch, not have to worry about getting stung. But you can take another class from them also that's more in the bees to see if that's something that you are really interested in.
Okay. Now, are there certain people you would tell not to become beekeepers? Like, because you were talking about getting stung, and I know some people are allergic to bees, or...
You already know you're allergic to bees. So if you get stung right here on the arm and your arm swells up, that's perfectly normal. If you get stung on the arm and your throat swells up, that's not normal.
Okay.
So some swelling at the site of a bee sting is your body's reaction.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, as you get stung over and over again, I didn't believe it was true either, but the swelling goes down. It's not as bad. It does kind of burn for a minute. If you can count to 30 and handle it for 30 seconds, then it's going to be gone.
Okay.
It does sting. It does burn a little bit, but it's not like an ant bite that is
Right.
constantly, or chiggers, which are 10 times worse, I think. It'll itch a little bit the next day, but the bee stings aren't that bad.
So when you mentioned that there was a friend of yours that you got started with and she stopped. Do you find that people get into this and later decide it's not for them?
She moved.
Okay.
So,
Because is there a lot of work involved in it?
there's not really a lot.
Okay.
You think about maybe $500 to get yourself started, and most of the counties around Austin, Travis County, Williamson County, Hayes County all have rules on the books, laws that say it's okay to have bees in your backyard. It has to be a certain distance from your neighbor's back doors.
Right. Kind of like chickens.
Kind of like chicken.
Yeah.
So you can have bees in your backyard. Your first year, when your hive is small, and maybe you're not so confident about taking care of them, your hive is small, so that's good. Your confidence grows as your beehive grows. And you're probably going to spend 30 minutes every weekend checking on your bees and making sure that they have water.
Okay.
Sugar syrup, some resources.
Okay.
Today we were out there for an hour. We watered our bees and we treated them for mites.
And you only treat them for mites 3 times a year?
Every time you
Okay.
And you go through your hive, top to bottom, frame by frame, maybe 4 or 5 times a year. Other than that, you're just doing quick looks.
Okay.
You want to make sure you have a clean Or if you can't find your queen, you want to make sure you see babies. The little bitty babies are eggs, because if you see eggs, you know she was there at least 3 days ago.
Okay.
So part of class and stuff is learning what age are your bees by looking at them, how old are they? So I know that everybody's an egg for 3 days. So if I see eggs, I know my queen was there at least 3 days ago. Then the full life cycle of a honeybee, they're an egg, and then they're